Tapos yung student, papuntahin sa akin talaga.
Once again, brethren, blessed evening. We now come to the significant part of our program. It is our privilege to hear from our keynote speaker. Our keynote speaker is a licensed professional teacher and a registered psychologist. She is a graduate of Bachelor of Arts, major in Psychology and Sociology at the University of the Philippines, Baguio, and Master of Science in Psychology at Laguna College of Business and Arts. She has also finished a degree in Doctor of Philosophy in Psychology with specialization in Clinical Psychology at Polytechnic University of the Philippines, Santa Mesa, Manila. She also took 18 professional education units in National Secondary Education, which qualified her to take the board licensure examination for teachers. She has been in the professional field for almost 27 years already and has served both in private and public institutions for both academe and industry practice. Being in academe for almost 90 years now, she has assumed teaching and supervisory positions such as classroom teacher, academic instructor, subject coordinator, assistant to the school administrator, and assistant school principal. Prior to entering academe, she has worked for almost 8 years in various private and government offices as an HR assistant, legislative staff officer, researcher, and counselor. Currently, she is the program chair for psychology at the National University, Laguna Campus, while also practicing as consulting psychologist at Mary May Malabanan Fernando Psychological Services in Arian, Alama City, Laguna. On top of all this, Dr. Malapo believes that what matters most is how she will use all the opportunities God has provided for her professional investment to serve God effectively and fulfill God's purpose in her life. She has known Christ since she was 9 years old and has been serving in God's ministry since then. Brethren, please welcome with a big hand our keynote speaker, Dr. Marwalita Teresa Abutan Malaki.
Thank you so much, Sir O'Neill. Magandang gabi po. Good evening, everyone. Good evening po to our pastor and school administrator, to his wife, Ma'am Pam, and Sir Tina, and all the parents, students, pupils, and of course, the faculty and staff who are here. Ayan. So, it's a privilege to be part of this banquet and share about, of course, a very important learnings that each parent should know. Ayan. So, this talk actually is about raising resilient hearts. I think that's one of the challenges that our parents here face. Raising resilient hearts, building a mentally healthy and faith-anchored home. But before I begin, I would like to ask this question. Ayan, kumusta po kayo? Kumusta po? Busog na. Ayan, yun po ang maganda, busog na. Kumusta ka? Kumusta ka po as a parent? Ayan, siguro, let's have that reflection, no? Kumusta po tayo as a parent? We have just completed another school year. Diba? Kanina po, we heard one auditor, si Zach, no, on behalf of the computers, on behalf of the graduates, siya po ay nagpasalamat. You have seen the students awarded, no, nag-pay off yung kanilang isang 10 buwan, 10 buwan ng pagtityaga. Ngayon, as we naman as parents, alam natin na hindi natatapos doon, di ba? So, upon the reflection, kumusta po tayo bilang mga magulang? How do you feel? Yeah, next slide. How do you feel about parenting today? Ano po? Ano po yun? Yeah. Actually, walang nagsasalita, but I see, unlike before now, I see faces na parang, oo nga no, gusto nga ba ang parenting? Yan. So what I will share for the next, bigay ko sa akin ay 30 minutes. For the next 30 minutes, yan, ito po yung i-share ko. What is emotional resilience? How to make our home a safe space, and how to build a mentally healthy, faith-anchored home. Importante po yan. With a very challenging world that we have, ito pong uncontrollable na mga nangyayari sa lipunan natin, social media, and all of this. Very important that as parents, we are able to make our home a safe space, and we are able to build a mentally healthy and faith-anchored home. So let's first begin by understanding what is emotional resilience. Gusto ko pong i-discuss ang emotional resilience by sharing what is not emotional resilience. Para makita po natin. Okay? Sige, let's have this situation. Next slide. This is the situation. Your child comes home from school looking sad. Diba? May encounter natin yan. You ask, oh, what happened? Sasabihin niya, oh, malungkot ako. I didn't get picked for the group I wanted. I think nobody likes me. O kaya, I didn't get picked for the task that I wanted to do. I didn't get picked to the assignment that I would like to have, to the role that I would like to have. Okay? So I think my teacher doesn't like me. Nobody likes me. Yeah. So ang isang bata na hindi emotionally resilient, ganito siya. Yeah. Next po. Next slide. Yeah. A child is not emotionally resilient if the child feels stuck in negative self-belief. Anong self-belief yun? Nobody likes me. I am not likable. Narinig niyo po ba yan sa inyong mga anak? Diba? Mga younger children, ay, di nila ako gusto. Hindi ako kasama sa laro nila. So, they don't like me. So, I am not likable. Eh, ano pa? Ayan, the child avoids or fears future social situation. I don't want to go to school tomorrow. I'll never join a group again. I will not play with her again. I will not play with him again. Yan. Yan po yung sinasabi ng isang batang hindi emotional resilient. So, avoidance is a coping mechanism when resilience is low. Ina-avoid po yung isang situation. Okay? What else? A child is not emotionally resilient if the child lacks emotional vocabulary or self-expression. Paano niya lang i-express ang sarili niya? Bigla na lang siyang mag-shutdown. Papasok, pag ibabang ang door, magbubukong sa kwarto. O kaya, I don't care. Ayoko na. Basta gano'n lang ang sasabihin niya. Wala siyang magiging vocabulary doon sa nararamdaman. Basta ang alam niya lang, ayaw niya na. Okay? So, what else? Magkakaroon siya ng mga physical complaints without clear cause. Bigla na lang sasakit ang ulo. Pero totoo po yun. Minsan yung mga bata, when they express that, hindi yan gumagawa sila ng kwento. It's possible that they really have somatic symptoms. Nakaka-experience sila nila biglang sasakitan siya nila, biglang sasakit ang ulo nila, biglang talaga silang lalagnatin. Okay? So, totoo pong nararanasan nila yun. What else? They choose isolation over interaction even with family. Ayaw nila na nakikipag-usap kahit sa pamilya nila. Mas gusto lang nila na sila lang. Okay, so that is characteristic or a behavior of a child is not emotionally resilient. Ano pa? Low self-talk or negative identity statements. Yun nga, I'm not good, I can't do it. Ayun. Okay? What else? The child does not seek support or feel safe sharing. Hindi siya nag-share. So, a child is not emotionally resilient kung ayaw niyang mag-share. Bakit? Because he or she fears being judged, mocked, or invalidated. Hindi na lang ako mag-share kasi baka isipin nila, arte-arte ko naman. Ay, ang maliit na bagay lang naman yun. Bakit naman ako sasabahang loob? O kaya, hindi sasabihin na naman ng mami or ng daddy, yun lang. Yun lang, sumama lang loob. Hindi ka lang sinama sa laro. Diba? Minsan may mga ganun tayong statements. So when they hear that, the next time, hindi na po sila okay? Ano pa? Ayan. So, yun po yung characteristics ng isang bata hindi emotional resilient considering the situation or probably any other situations. Therefore, when we say emotional resilience, it is having a strong heart that helps you bounce back when things feel hard, sad, or or scared. Para bang to make it simple, para silang may feeling nila, ang isang bata may emotional resilience, feeling nila, meron silang parang invisible superhero na kasama, na parang pag may nangyari sa kanila, o kaya may mahirap na sitwasyon, kayang-kaya nila labanan. That's how we can simply describe a child who is emotionally resilient. Okay? So, therefore, sa mga sitwasyon, doon po sa sitwasyon na pinakita ko kanina, a child is emotionally resilient if he or she, sige po, expresses feelings honestly. Sinasabi niya pagdating sa bahay, I'm sad, mommy. Galit po ako, mommy. Nasasaktan po ako. So, yung mga bata, mga younger, hindi pa nila yan, limited pa ang emotions nila. Okay? Love, fear, anger, yung ibang mga emotions, hindi pa nila yan. Okay? But when they can express their feelings honestly, that means they are exhibiting emotional resilience. Ano pa? Is willing to talk about it. Pag sinabi nila, na-hurt po ako, tapos sinabi ni mami, gusto mo bang pag-usapan? Yes po. Sige, bakit anong nangyari? Kasi po, si ganito, ganyan, ganito lang naman po yung ginawa. So that is a sign that the child is emotional. Ano pa? Hindi niya hinahayaan, the child does not let one event define his or her. Na dahil hindi siya sinama, alam niya na hindi nun ma-define kung ano yung word. Alam niya na siya ay may kaya pa rin gawin, no? Hindi man siya magustuhan ng isang classmate, may ibang classmates ka rin na hindi siya magustuhan. Okay? So pa, the child seeks support instead of withdrawing. So instead of aalisin sa sitwasyon, hingi siya ng tulong. Okay? Iba-iba po ang paghingi ng tulong ng bata. Minsan ang bata, gusto niya lang, Mommy, can I get a hug? Can I just cry? Yan. Ano kaya po ang gagawin ko bukas pag nagkita po kami ng friend ko na nakaaway ko ngayon? Okay, so, ibig sabihin, hindi niya po tinatakasan yung painful situation or situation that was kahit na. Okay? The child also is emotionally resilient if he or she accepts conflict. Okay, so ang question dito, ano ang gagawin namin? Diba, as parents? What should we do? What should we say? Kasi, minsan po, I understand that we mean well, pero the way we say it, hindi pala siya validating, hindi pala siya yung tamang paraan ng pagsabi. Diba? Yung gusto lang naman natin kung sinabi na, okay lang yan, magkakaroon ka pa naman ng maraming friends. Minsan, di ba talagang pinakinggan naman natin, tama naman, pero ano yung dating nun? Hindi nga ako okay. Hindi nga okay sa akin yun. So parang sinasabi mo na mali ang nararamdaman ko, kasi nasasaktan ako. Diba? Sige, so this is what I suggest that we may say. So in that situation, your child comes home from school looking sad, you ask what happened, tapos ito yung nangyari, ano yung pwedeng gawin? Sige po, you may say this. Okay, anak, I'm really sorry that happened. No? I'm sorry that happened. It's okay to feel sad when things go the way we hope. But I want you to remember that this one moment doesn't decide how lovable or amazing you are. Let's think about what we can do next time. Let's come to the Lord in prayer. Pag nag-express mo yung anak natin na sila po ay nalulungkot, nagalit, syempre these are negative emotions. Tandaan po natin, hindi po pinipili, kahit po tayo. Di ba pag ayaw naman natin nararamdaman yung mga negative emotions? Gusto niyo po bang nagagalit? Pag nagagalit po ba kayo, gusto niyo po ba yun?
Ayaw.
Ayaw, di ba? Ayaw niyo po, gusto niyo po ba yung nalulungkot? Ayaw. Pero yun ang nararamdaman natin, di ba po? Ganun din po yung mga anak natin. Ayaw nila, yun yung papipiliin sila, but that's what they feel. So let's not invalidate them na, ay yun lang, nalungkot ka na. Yun lang, nagalit ka na. Eh, yun nga po ang naramdaman nila, that's why nga they feel bad, because they feel it. Diba? Iba po ang feeling sa behavior. The way they respond, merong appropriate and inappropriate response. At doon papasok yung role natin, paano sila magre-respond ng tama, doon sa nararamdaman. Okay, so when they say, kung sa atin, ang petty naman no, hindi lang pinahiram ng lapis, nagalit na, o kaya nalungkot na. Sa atin, ang petty nun, pero sa kanila, hindi petty yun. Okay, so kung nalungkot sila doon, we have to validate and tell them, I'm sorry you feel that way. No? Ano nga po yun? Balikan po natin yung... Babalik tayo. Makibalik po doon sa statement. Ayan. I'm sorry that happened. So, I'm sorry that happened. It's okay na it's okay that you feel sad because things didn't go the way you wanted it. But remember, itong nangyari ito, this does not define who you are. You are still lovable. No, hindi ka man nagustuhan ng isang friend mo. Remember, mahal ka namin bilang mga magulang mo. Diba? So, ano bang dapat natin gawin? Let's talk about it. No? Let's talk about what we can do at pag-try natin yan. Okay? So, doon makakakuha siya ng comfort. Pag ganun pa ang naging response natin, i-encourage them to share. Okay? Ayun. Sige. So, that's what emotional resilience is. And that's what we can do to encourage emotional resilience. Ha? Okay po? Sundan po? Okay. Ngayon, how can we make our home as a safe space? It's very important for my dear parents that the home is our child's safe space. Otherwise, hindi nila gusto umuwi ng bata. Mas gusto nilang nasa labas, mas gusto nilang nasa kalaro, kesa samahan tayo sa bahay. It's always important that you practice daily check-ins. Daily check-ins. Paano? Kumusta ka, anak? How are you today? Yan. What was the best part of your day? Was there anything hard today? Yan. Kumusta ka? Sige, ano bang mga naranasan mo sa school ngayon? Ano yung mga nagpasaya sa'yo? May mga instances ba na medyo nahirapan ka sa business mo? Ayun. Daily check-ins po. No? We have to practice that. Ano pa? Next? Ayan. Cultivate emotional safety by listening, validating, and recognizing. Alam niyo po, it's important, kahit mga bata ang nagkikwento sa atin, we listen. Isan kasi tayong mga magulang, lalo na pag may ginagawa, nagkikwento, tuloy tayo sa ginagawa natin. Diba? Mas kwento ng kwento ng mga bata. It's important po that we know how to listen. And when we listen muna. Okay? We listen to understand. We listen not to respond. Understand mo. Pag naiintindihan na natin, saka tayo mag-respond. Okay, what else? Validating. Kung sila ay nasasaktan, let me validate yung pain na nararamdaman nila. And always be present. Okay? When they express that they are sad, let's pause for a while. Ipakita natin yung attention natin sa kanila, whatever we are doing. Mahirap po yun, lalo na kung marami tayong hinahabol na gawain, di ba? Pero pag nakita natin na kailangan po tayo ng anak natin, we have to be present. Kahit po sila ay bata pa, lalo na kapag sila ay bata. Kasi, alam niyo po, ito pong edad ng mga anak po ninyo, ako kasi ang anak ko po ay 9, 18 and 20 na. Pero yung first 12 years sa buhay po ng ating mga anak, yan po yung foundation. That's when they establish their values, they learn principles, lahat po, ang pinaka-importanting tao po sa buhay at pinaka-influential na tao sa buhay ng ating mga anak ay ang magulang at ang teachers. O, balikan nyo. Yung kung ano man yung mga natutunan nyo, sinong teacher ang makakaalala ninyo? Diba? Anong memories with your parents ang mas tumatak sa inyo na alam nyo nakatulong sa kung paano po kayo ngayon? Diba? Pagdating po kasi ng 13, 14, adolescence na yan, that's the time that they begin to establish sense of control of themselves and sense of responsibility. Yan. So, kung paano nila ina-navigate yung kanilang buhay during their teenage years, nakabase po yan doon sa mga natutunan nila during the first 12 years. No? Kaya nga nagkakaroon po minsan ng identity confusion pagdating ng 13, 14. Bakit? Kasi ito yung natutunan ng bata, tinuro sa kanya. Pagdating niya po nung 13, 14 na kasama niya yung mga kaibigan niya, nalilito na siya. Diba? Lalo na kung siya po ay dinala niyo sa isang environment na very liberated, diba? Kung baga mix, hindi na Christian school, yung iba-iba na yung kasama, galing na sa iba-ibang environment, iba na yung nakikita niya. Kung hindi po strong yung foundation niya during the first 12 years, mahihirapan po siya na establish yung sarili niya pagdating po ng kanyang teenage years. Kaya very important po. Pero kung strong po yung naging foundation niya, at tuloy-tuloy po yung subaybay. Yan. Makakatulong po yun. Hindi siya magkakaroon ng difficulty sa kanyang pagdadalaga at pagdadalaga. Okay? Sige, next po. Yan. Practice responsive parenting. Hindi ako nag-time. Sana din na time dito ka. Practice responsive parenting. Ano po yan? Tuning in to your child's emotional cues and responding with empathy, not just mas kilala po natin ang mga anak natin. Alam natin kung kailan sila malungkot, kung kailan sila masaya, kung kailan sila galit. So we have to be sensitive sa anumang mga emotional cues ng ating mga anak. Okay? And we respond with empathy. Minsan, yung reaction ng mga anak natin, hindi yun ang gusto natin. Di ba? Oh. Pero ginagawa natin, bakit ka ganyan? Di ba? Nagre-react tayo. Kasi dapat, kung ano yung inaasahan natin na response nila, ganun dapat. So, anong nangyayari? Yan, nakikita sila. So, we have to learn to empathize. When you empathize, you put yourself on her or his situation and you try to understand ano ba yung nararamdaman kaya ng anak mo. Okay? That's responsive parenting. Okay? Yan. And of course, we have to model healthy coping. Tayo mismo, bilang mga parents, nakikita po dapat sa atin yung healthy coping. Paano ba tayo mag-respond sa stress? Let children see you handle stress with grace. Okay? So, hindi po masamang makita ng mga bata that you feel stress, na may problema din tayo. Pero, it's important that they see us, that we are able to respond to this stress with grace. No? Sabi nga po dito, Let them hear us na, oh, I'm feeling overwhelmed. Ang dami kong isipin, I have this problem, but sige, ako muna yung maglalakad-lakad. I will walk and I'll pray. I'll pray for it. So, magandang nakikita sa atin ng mga bata yun. Para nagkakaroon sila ng model on how they will also handle this. Ano pa? You may use also coping tools together. Yan. Breathing exercise is a coping tool. Okay, hindi lang siya basta breathing. Ano ang nagagawa ng breathing? Ang breathing po, nire-relax niya po yung ating brain responsible for our emotion. Kasi this is how it really works. Pag tayo po ay confronted ng isang situation, ang una pong nagre-react dyan is that part of the brain responsible for our emotion. Usually that's the amygdala. So, yun. So, kaya po pag meron tayong na-experience, may nararamdaman agad tayo. Either galit, inis, excitement, diba? So, yung breathing po, pinapakalma niya yun. Pinapakalma niya para hindi siya mag-overreact. Kasi ang gusto niya, makakuha ng relief. Okay? So, yung breathing, yun po yung nagre-relax doon sa brain. Yun ang nag-prepare sa brain para ready na yung next part naman responsible for our decision making. Ganun po yan. Kaya kapag tayo po ay emotional, hindi dapat muna tayo nagre-react. Hindi tayo nag-decide muna, hindi muna tayo gumagawa ng anumang bagay. Kasi kapag kalmado na po yung part ng brain na yon, pwede natin pagsisihan yung ginawa natin out of emotion. Kaya yung breathing, pampakalma yun. Okay? Journaling is also, according to studies, a very effective way to manage emotion. Journaling. Every day. Pwede niyo po ituro yan din sa mga bata. Probably sa school din, pwede po yung maging isa sa mga activities nila para ma-manage po nila yung kanilang mga emotions. Sulat nila ang naramdaman nila, anong mga thoughts nila. Yun. Music also calms the brain. Ano pa? Physical exercise. Physical activity. Lalo na po ngayon, na pag free time ng mga bata, ang nalilimo natin social media, cellphone, hindi po siya healthy. Children should have physical activities. Because physical activities naturally release hormones. No? Nagre-release po yan ng hormones na nakakatulong to lighten our mood, to reduce anxiety and depressive symptoms. Isang dahilan kung bakit po ngayon marami na ang mga nag-exhibit ng symptoms of depression and anxiety. Hindi lang yan dahil may awareness na sila na may anxiety pala yun o depression. Dahil po kulang na ang physical activities. Kaya ang physical activities po, natural na nagre-release, ginagawa niya, tinutulungan niya ang brain na mag-release ng hormones na kailangan natin for mood regulation. Okay, so sana po, balik nyo yung Pico, Chinese garter, ano pa ba?
Tumbang preso.
Tumbang preso, yung mga ganon. Okay, yung mga ganong laro.
Siyato. Patintero.
Lato-lato.
Ano pa? And of course, mga physical exercise, physical activities. Okay? Ano pa? Normalize asking for help. Normalize mo yung paghingi ng tulong. Okay? Sige. So, let's have this reflection. As we talk about hope as a safe space, let's ask, when your child is overwhelmed, where do they go? Saan sila pupunta when they are overwhelmed? Who do they turn to? What helps them feel safe? Balikan niyo po yung interaction niyo sa mga anak po. Has there been an instance na sila ay nagkikwento sa inyo ng kanilang mga nararamdaman? Kung maraming instance, then that's better. Ibig sabihin, kayo talaga yung safe space nila. Kung wala man lang, ay baka hindi po tayo ang safe space nila. Diba? Baka hindi na tayo naging aware dun sa mga nararamdaman nila. Okay? Ayan. So, how to build a mentally healthy and faith-anchored hope. I have here 3 foundational elements for emotional and spiritual stability of hope. Para mas madali matandaan ang itong siya. The first C is connection. Dapat po connected sa atin ng mga anak natin. Okay? Alam niyo po, kapag ang mga anak po natin, as young as they are, 12 years old and below, na-establish ang connection sa atin. No? Hindi po magiging mahirap na ma-maintain yun habang sila ay lumalaki. Babalik at babalik sila sa atin. Kapag tayo ang naging safe space nila from the very beginning, babalik at babalikan mo nila tayo. Okay? Connection. It nurtures emotional closeness and trust. Yan. Have family bonding time. Yan. Importante po yun. Pag sinabing family bonding, as in activities to the family, minsan magkakasama pero kanya-kanyang cellphone. Diba? Hirap naman. Wala. Ito, magkasama lang kayo. Pero hindi quality yung time. Diba? Yan. Ano pa? Shared meals. Yan. Ngayon nauuso na yung ano eh. Sige na, una na kayo. Mamaya na. Yan. Have shared meals. No? Ano pa? Open conversations. Ano pa? Take together, of course. Alam niyo po, kapag nasanay po ang mga anak natin at nakita nila yan na kultura sa pamilya, no? Madadala po nila yan. Yan ang pinakamagandang family bonding prayer ko yun. Okay? Connection is the relational glue that makes children feel safe and loved. Okay, ano pa po? Next, C. Consistency. Yan. Importante po ang consistency na provide po yun ng structure and stability. Predictability. Okay? Predictable routines and clear expectations. Sige po. Yan. Pag sinabi natin na kapag hindi ka kumain ng gulay, hindi ka makakapaglaro ng favorite laro mo, you have to be consistent. Hindi yung na-beautiful eyes lang tayo ng anak natin. Sige na nga. Hindi man siya kumain ng gulay, pero nag-request siya ng sige na, hindi ko nakakainin yung gulay, palaro na ako. Diba? Nakyutan lang tayo sa anak natin, sinupunan natin kung ano man yung gulay sa bahay. So, dapat po, nagiging consistent tayo sa rules. Okay? Pag sinabi na, okay, when you do not fix your bed, hindi ka pwedeng manood ng TV. Kung sinabi natin yun, gawin po natin consistently. Hindi yung minsan yes, minsan hindi. Kasi mawawalan na tayo ng power dyan. No? Hindi natin namamalayan tayo na po nakukontrol ng mga anak natin. Okay? Ayun. Ano pa? Compassion, of course. It fosters grace, empathy, and spiritual grounding. Compassion. Yan. Grace-based discipline, forgiveness, and it's important para yung ating tahanan ay mabilang ang isang mentally healthy and faithful home. We have to teach, practice, show compassion kahit sa ating. Okay? Yung discipline na, of course, ayon po sa sinasabi ng salita ng Diyos, no? And laging merong prayer. Compassion is the heart of a faith-anchored home which teaches children to be kind to themselves and others. So, yan. Yan po kami. Pero to anyways, bakit ko po yan pinakita? Yan, karamihan naman po siguro. I just want to share this. Ito po lagi ko itong share. Because I really see, I really see kung paano po natulungan kami as a family. Ito. Nakita ko po ito. Next slide po. Ayan. Yan po, output po yan ng panganay namin. Ginawa niya po yan nung siya ay grade 7 or grade 8. She was 13 years old. Natuwa ako doon sa first part, sabi po niya. My best family bond. My family has been with me through my ups and downs. Nandito ba sa area? I've experienced hardships and sadness, joys and victories, and they have always been with me. They have helped me grow spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and socially. With all those experiences, there is one thing that has contributed to our family growth. Ginawa niya po yan when she was 13. When they were growing up, ginawa talaga po namin kultura yun sa bahay na lagi kami may family occupied. So, nasanay sila sa ganun. So, sila po, hindi ganun ka-expressive ang mga anak ko na. Pero ako, I really appreciate this kasi akala namin walang effect sa kanila yung mga ginagawa namin. Kasi minsan, alam niyo po ang mga bata, mapipilitan pa yan. Gigisingin mo, antok na sila, gigisingin mo, di pa tayo nag-play. Diba? Parang akala namin nung una, they consider it a chore, a responsibility. But we were consistent during that time. So, that was, of course, this was 13 years old po siya. Nandun siya sa stage na, 4 years old, I think 4 years old to 12 years old. Yun. So, yung ginagawa po namin, akala namin walang effect. Pero nung nakita ko to, doon ko na-realize na na-appreciate niya yung ginagawa namin. Kahit na minsan kailangan pang pagalitan, takutin, para lang gumising, dahil hindi pa nag-pray. Diba? So, ngayon po, my daughters are already 18 and 20. Malayo po yung aming panganak. Pero to be honest, wala po kaming kaba na siya ay nag-aaral sa malayo. Hindi namin nasusubaybayan, hindi po namin nakikita kung ano yung ginagawa. Because we believe na na-build po yung foundation sa kanila. Fear, yung sense of responsibility, yung faith. Alam niyo po, nakakahiya mang sabihin. Minsan siya po ang nagsasabi sa akin, uy, mag-devotion naman tayo, mami, daddy. Pwede po ba tayo mag-meet every Tuesday? Video call lang po. Tapos mag-pray po tayo together. Siya pa po ang nagsasabi sa amin. Minsan po, yan mga, na siya. Kaya sabi nga namin, nagmamature ang anak namin. Malayo siya, pero alam namin na yung mga kasama niya, yung mga nakakahalubilo niya, ay talagang mga well-chosen na. Nakikita rin po namin how she disciples. Ngayon, may minsan makikulat na lang kami after service po doon sa Santo Tomas. May iiwan isang kunwari, si Aya. Akala namin kung anong gagawin, pag-uusap pala sila, magkikwentuhan. Lalabas lang po kami. Yun, minsan mag-meet sila, yung mga lalagitan namin. Nakikita namin how she really is responsible. So, kami minsan bilang mga magulang napapahiya, but I'm really happy na ganoon po yung nagiging disposition natin. And I look back doon po sa mga naituro sa kanya. Alam niyo po, dahil ko po itong sinasabi sa ibang mothers, ako po ay nanay ko. Nung when they were growing up, I have also sacrificed so much. I have sacrificed so much. My dreams, my career, lahat ng gusto. Many people were questioning me then, bakit ka nag-resign? Ganda ng trabaho mo. Even my former teachers, kaya nung time na yun po, nung umuwi ako ng Bicol after that, hindi po ako lumabas ng bahay. Shutdown ako ng social media kasi kahit lahat ng mga nasasalubong ko, they were questioning bakit ko ginawa yung ganung decision. But I praise God kasi kahit nagkaroon ng sakripisyo during that time, all of them faithful. Pag tinuna talaga po natin ang ating pamilya, kalooban ng Panginoon sa atin. Because I believe ang kalooban ng Panginoon sa ating parents is to take care of our family. No? At may to-give up tayo ng mga sarili po nating mga gusto, mga decision. Pero pag tinuna po natin na siya po ang gagawa ng paraan to lead us to our desire sa tamang panahon. Ayun. So, I'm not saying that we are a perfect family. We are not. Malayo-malayo po kami. Marami rin po kaming problema. Kung alam nyo lang. Sabi ko nga po, pang maalaala mo kaya, alam nyo ng aking kapatid. pang magpakailanman ang buhay ng aming pamilya. But, praise God for the faith that we have by God's grace. Na yun po yung tumutulong po sa amin para po magpatuloy sa biyaya. Maraming pong salamat. Wow.
Thank you po for Malako for that inspiring message, and we hope that our parents have learned something from your lecture and applying it in handling the emotions of her children. So at this juncture, we now turn our